Well, we're now working on this here. Sarah's got rotors back here now. And Whitaker ended up welding some beads of weld on the races on this one hub. I just got done doing that one there, so we'll let that one cool. And we can pop them races out. But before we do that, we'll end up getting this other side apart. In the last video, I don't think I showed it in this one, but we had a wheel seal go on the back right corner. So I was going after that one. Then it needed tires. So we said, well, as long as it's in here, we're going to put new tires on it. And I said, well, as long as it's apart, we might as well look at the rest of the brakes on it. The wheel seal on that front right one was weeping just a little bit. I said, well, that needs done. I had some stress cracks in the rotor, in this back right rotor. I said, well, we will replace the rotor. The pads were mediocre. I said, we're probably gonna have to do the same to that one. Well, I got up to that front position. The pads were decent. I said, well, that's good. We'll just do the pads and the rotor on this one. You should do the pads in pairs. But I said, well, we'll just do that one. Heck with it. We'll do the rest of them later on. So then we got these wheels off, and this rotor here's got a big old crack in it. Now, you can see that crack there. I said, well, we got to replace 2 out of the 4. We might as well change all 4. So we're putting pads and rotors on this, bearings and wheel seals. All 4 locations, just because we're taking it apart. So we now have our parts here. We can get after getting the rest of it off. Whitaker's got the 9410 in here, and what he's doing on this is he is replacing the air throttle. So that is just right in the intake there. Here is the new one here. It tripped some codes here the other day, and it must be gunked up with carbon or something. I don't know. I don't even know how carbon would get in there, but at any rate, it must be sticking enough to where it doesn't like the whatever. So he's going to get that off of there, and looks like it's relatively simple to do, but we'll keep at it here. Alright, we've got these rotors. Well, we've got the hubs off. We've got the rotors unbolted, and you can see this one has cracked very nicely. So I've got the races ready to be knocked out of these hubs over here. I've got a bead of weld on the inside, and then the idea of that is the heat from the weld cools and it'll shrink and they'll fall out. So we'll go ahead and do the same procedure to these hubs here. Weld a bead around the inside, bang bang, and then while this is cooling we could start putting that side together. I've got to pound this seal and bearing. I got to pound the seal off anyways. This bearing should pop right out of there. So yeah, all right. Well, we are now into the next day here, and we had a little planning here. And what we did is we got these hubs all cleaned up, and I threw the races in the freezer overnight, so they've been in there a good long while. I had one of the other videos come across, and we were doing that 9410 there the other day, and somebody had mentioned you need to build yourself a heavy bench to put this stuff on to work on it. Well, we've got one right there that I built like 25 years ago. This has got a 1-inch top on it. Saw on one, and you guys have all seen this. So we're gonna go ahead and put these races in. Hopefully they go in easily, or a lot easier, being that they're cold. So we'll get them jogged in there, and yeah. ton right there. Aiming all the way in. Well, that was the best one yet.
Let me know when you need a name.
All right, we've got this job done. We, yeah, got new tires, new brakes. Well, these are recaps, they're not new. Now, I don't know if you noticed earlier there, we had a new impact. I ended up buying some tools here yesterday. This is the Hercules 1/2-inch drive ultra torque impact. Now Jared and Andrew and Nate have been buying the Hercules tools from Harbor Freight, and they've had real good luck with them. So I figured I would go ahead and buy them as well. The battery clips onto the tool a lot easier, a lot better. It seems to lock on and not, I don't think it's going to get to the point where it's going to be where it's going to vibrate and come unlocked like we see with the Milwaukee tools. There is a like a 9 amp hour battery as well. I've just got the 5 amp hour, and I've got the larger one too. But so far they have proven themselves with what Andrew and Jared and Nate have gotten out of them, so I figured I'd buy one. I bought a grease gun, that 1/2-inch impact, and I bought the 3/8 drive impact as well. And the 3/8 drive impact uses the same 20 volt battery. So we're gonna kick this out the door, and gonna park it on a side hill so that all the oil can come over to the bearings on one side, and then in the morning I'll move it so that the oil can come over to the bearings and the hubs on the other side. Now I put a little bit of oil in the bearings, but not much. It just makes a mess all over the floor, and if you've got time to have it run from the differential each way, that works better than the alternative. There is a plug that you can pull out of these hubs, and these hubs do have that option. Let me see if I can find it. It's probably not going to be on the top. Well, it's right there. So you just get that up at the top and you fill the hub with oil, but you can overfill the differential doing that too. So yeah, well, I guess that's gonna do it for this video. This has been our first experience kind of dealing with doing rotors and all that stuff on these semi trucks or disc brakes. So yeah, all right, take it easy folks, we'll catch you at the next one.